The Titanic was one of the largest ships ever built at the time, and considered to be unsinkable. But we all know what happened next. It struck an iceberg, sank, and more than 1,500 passengers and crew lost their lives. What if this famous ship had survived? Well, that's what we're going to explore today in our alternate history series. Let's do this one. What if the Titanic had survived? Dark retelling, it's the year 1911, and for 3 years the Titanic has been sailing the seas with pride. The largest ship afloat is nearly 900 feet long and has a reputation for being almost unsinkable. However, there is a growing feeling among some of the crew that this may all be a false sense of security. Some even claim to have seen cracks in the hull during dry dock repairs, though these claims are quickly silenced by the captain and the ship's owners. On April of 1911, the Titanic begins its voyage from Southampton to New York. All seems to be going well until the early hours of April, when the lookout spots a large iceberg directly in their path. The captain immediately turns the ship to avoid the iceberg, but it's too late. The Titanic strikes the iceberg and gasps echo across the ship as people realize the next morning that the ship is indeed sinking. There's panic as lifeboats are launched into the water. Many of the passengers and crew are saved, but there's not enough room for everyone. As the ship goes down, people are forced to make a choice: stay on the ship and die with dignity, or jump into the freezing cold water and hope for the best. Those who choose to stay on board die as the ship sinks, while those who jump into the water find themselves at the mercy of the sea. Some are pulled under by the strong currents, and others simply succumb to hypothermia. Of the 2,224 passengers and crew on board, only 705 survive. But the worst is yet to come. As the sun rises, survivors begin washing up on the shore near Cape Cod, but they bring with them a horrifying new detail. The ship wasn't just overcrowded and poorly equipped, it was carrying passengers who had paid extra to be left behind. You see, when the Titanic first struck the iceberg, there had been a lifeboat drill, and many passengers had been alerted to the danger and given life jackets. However, the lifeboats were filled with people who had bribed the crew to let them skip the drill and take the lifeboats for themselves. When the passengers who had paid to be left behind realized what was happening, they began killing the crew members and taking control of the lifeboats themselves. They then proceeded to sail away from the sinking ship, leaving the rest of the passengers and crew to their fate. When the survivors from the Titanic reached shore, they told the authorities about the passengers' actions, but no one believed them. After all, why would someone pay to be left behind on a sinking ship? The news of the disaster quickly spread around the world, and people were outraged. How could such a large and luxurious ship sink, and what had the lifeboats done to the passengers and crew? An investigation was launched, but it soon became clear that there was no way to know what had really happened on the Titanic. The ship was too far down, and the evidence had been lost with all those who had died. In the aftermath of the disaster, the few lifeboats available were quickly taken by people who had lost loved ones on the Titanic. The passenger who had organized the killings on the lifeboats became a wealthy man, as he was the only one who had benefited from the disaster. And so the mystery of the Titanic continued to grow, with rumors spreading about what had really happened on that fateful night. Some believed that the passenger's story was true, while others thought that they had simply made the whole thing up to cover their own guilt. The truth, however, was lost forever in the depths of the ocean. In the aftermath of the disaster, a few lifeboats available were quickly taken by people who had lost loved ones on the Titanic. The passenger who had organized the killings on the lifeboats became a wealthy man, as he was the only one who had benefited from the disaster. And so the mystery of the Titanic continued to grow, with rumors spreading about what had really happened on that fateful night. Some believed that the passenger's story was true, while others thought that they had simply made the whole thing up to cover their own guilt. The truth, however, was lost forever in the depths of the ocean. Now, that was a dark retelling of what might have happened after the Titanic had survived the sinking. What did you think of this story? Do you know of any other historical events that you'd like to see reimagined in a horror fashion? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more historical tales, including more stories from our alternate history series. We'll catch you later.